بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Welcome to Fiqh al-Muamalat online class. And we are still with the MURABAHAH contract. And we are still with the price. We have started talking about some points related to the price. We shall carry on the discussion on that. So the first point in this session is that the asset acquired by the seller could be sold to the purchaser in any other currency agreed upon, provided that the seller basically disclose the currency used in the acquisition of the asset, meaning that you can purchase the asset with the US dollars, then you can sell it with the euro, you can purchase it with the ringgit, Malaysian ringgit, then you sell it with the Saudi riyal, and so on and so forth. So basically, it could be done provided that you have to disclose, number one, the amount, the currency that has been used in the acquisition of the asset. That's number one. Number two, you have to disclose the amount. And number three, you have to agree on the exchange rate when you resell the asset to the buyer. It doesn't mean you purchase it in US, you have to sell it in US. You purchase it in euro, you have to sell it in euro. So that one is a flexible, changing the currency as long as there is an agreement between the different parties and there is a disclosure of the type of currency, the amount, and of course the acquisitions, what's so-called amount of the asset as mentioned, and the exchange rate. All this if they agree, so no issue to transact the murabaha according to that. The second point is that murabaha, basically contract may be entered in a cash or a deferment basis, meaning that the installments is not a condition for the murabaha. As we mentioned, the deferments of the installment is a kind of basically it's a mechanism of payment, meaning that when you do transact murabaha, you have the option, either you pay the full settlements in cash on the spot upon receiving your asset, or you open a schedule of payment with the client. So this goes back again to the different kind of understanding between the two contracting party, buyer and seller. And of course, if we talk about the retail market, in practice in Islamic banking, typically all the customers and also the corporate like to have a scheme of installment. That's where the murabaha is needed, because you need an installments of 5 years. Like for example, for the car financing, it is 5, 7, and 9 years. For the mortgage, sometimes 15, 20, it goes to up to 30 years. It depends on each jurisdictions. And it goes like this. So the clients will benefit from the tenure and the scheme of payments that manage his cash flow in a long term. But again, as I mentioned, it is not part and parcel of the murabaha. Murabaha could be settled on cash basis and could be based on a schedule of payment or installment. This is a depend on the contracting party, but as I mentioned, practically it's always there is an installment to facilitate the payment according to the cash flow of the client. The following point is that the contracting party, of course, may agree to make the payments of the installments, as we mentioned, or full in a currency different from the currency that's specified in the contract at the agreed prevailing exchange rate on the payments or settlements on specific dates. Again, if let's say the murabaha has the amount of, let's say 100K, and let's say there is an installment of scheme of installments of payment, even let's say in US dollars, 100K US dollars. Let's say the amount of murabaha to be paid is 100K US dollars, and there is a scheme of installments, let's say for 5 years, and every month you have to pay such amount in US dollar. Again, it is acceptable in Sharia and allowed to pay the installments in a different currency, as long as we mention that the amount is known based on the installment. So what you have to agree is on the exchange rate. meaning that instead of paying, let's say, every month 300 US dollars at that particular day of payment, you look at the exchange rate, what is the equivalent amount of 300 US dollars based on the rate. Let's say it is 4.1 to the Malaysian ringgit, then you just 300 times 4.1, then you get the equivalent amount of the Malaysian ringgit, then you pay the installments accordingly. That is also allowed, which means there is flexibility in the payment, even though the murabaha is in US dollars or in euro, and the installments is also scheduled in US dollars, but when you pay, you want to pay in a different currency. That is also allowed, provided, of course, both parties agree, number one. Number two, you have to do it on the date of payment. Number three, you have to agree on the exchange rate. Then you pay the amount accordingly. And this shows how flexible in Sharia and dynamic in a business transactions. The following point is that the contracting party also may agree to extend or reschedule the payments period of murabaha, or extending the installments, provided it is done without any kind of increase on the amount to the remaining debt. So if you want, if let's say the tenure is 5 years, you can extend it to 6 years. You can extend the schedule of payment. That one, no issue, but with the condition that you shouldn't increase, meaning the extensions of the tenure doesn't lead to the increase of the amount payments or additional amount to be paid, but you have to maintain the outstanding debt as it is. You have to maintain the outstanding amount as it is without any kind of extensions, but it is flexible to basically extend the payments and agree on the rescheduling on its extensions, provided you don't increase the amount agreed upon, meaning you don't change the selling price. I think that's it for these sessions, and we stop here, and we shall see you in the coming sessions on the pricing murabaha. With that, thank you very much, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.